Hello, lovely people. Hope you're well and welcome to the latest edition of the Summer Daily News Show. First and foremost, please do smash the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We've got some fun stuff to be talking about. Well, I think it's fun. You guys will be the judge of that, I suppose. First topic, though, is this man, Mr. Kessie, the AC Milan centre midfielder who is currently playing for the Ivory Coast, has been the latest player linked to Liverpool Football Club. Obviously, he's a centre midfielder. If you're a centre midfielder, you're going to be linked to Liverpool Football Club until we buy a centre midfielder. How is Kessie as a player? Brilliant. 24 years old, 6 foot, strong as anything, good turn of pace, good tackle, good passing range, can score goals as well. He's got sort of a 1 in 5 ratio, which is very good for a centre midfielder. Box-to-box midfielder. I know what you're thinking. Genie replacement? Yes. Will we get him? No idea. So he currently has 2 years left on his current deal at AC Milan. He is one of their best players or one of their most important players. And you've seen AC Milan without him this season, and they don't look like the same outfit. That being said, apparently he wants around 140,000 a week. Now, I think that is probably going to be a stumbling block. Now, it's no secret that Genie wanted around that sort of money to stay at Liverpool, and he wasn't going to be granted that. However, he is much older than Kessie. But at the same time, I don't see us putting a 24-year-old on that sort of money, especially a player who's meant to come in squad rotation. I know Naby Keita was put on similar sort of money when he joined, but he was seen as a player that was going to come straight into the first team. But obviously, it hasn't quite worked out for him. Now, in terms of his playing style, I think he would suit us well in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. So, yes, as I said, I think he would fit us brilliantly. Whether we sort of pay the money and then give him the salary, that remains to be seen. Another thing to take note is the fact that he's obviously an Ivory Coast international, which means when the African Cup of Nations come round, if we still have Keita, we would lose him, Keita, Mane, and Salah. So we'd be losing 4 players from our team. Again, I don't know if that's the best thing, but here's the thing. If one of these centre midfielders were to leave, such as Keita per se, Matt, don't kill me here, then he's the player who comes in and sort of replaces that quota there. So I don't think it's a big issue. And I don't think we would have to rely on Kessie for a whole season because we have so many players who can play in midfield. So I think it's slightly different to buying a forward who is from Africa at the moment, a la Patson Daka, for example. So do I think this story has any legs? Honestly, no. But would I have Kessie at Liverpool? Absolutely. I think he's a quality player. I think he would add dynamism to our team. I think he would actually enhance the quality of our midfield as well. He'd be a fantastic alternative to what we have. And I think Klopp could mould him into an absolute world beater. But look, that's just my opinion. I'd love to get yours in the comments below. So please do that now. On to the next topic. These two, Ox and Keïta, are the foundation of many arguments on Kop-Ish. Who's better? Who should stay? If one were to leave, who would it be? You've heard it all before, yada, yada, yada. So I'm not going to go into that. However, reports have come out today that both players will be allowed to leave the club if suitable offers come in. So I've got a shout out to one of our subscribers, Chris here, who actually sent me a link to an article which said that if Maddison is sold to Arsenal, there's a high chance Leicester will come in for Keita. And if Rice is sold from West Ham, there's a high chance West Ham would come in for Ox. So again, I know what you're going to say. Why are we relying on sell to buy? But you know what? In this instance, it would kind of make sense. The only problem with this is we'd be very dependent on other deals going through. And the Maddison deal could drag out, even if he wants to leave Leicester and go to Arsenal. The Rice deal, we obviously know that if Chelsea were to come in for Rice, he would want to go there. But whether a deal can be brokered is another thing. If those deals were to be broken in the next sort of couple of weeks and we are able to offload Naby and Ox, it opens up a lot for us in terms of our recruitment options, in my opinion. Obviously, we need a centre midfielder, but I don't think we'll go over the 40 million mark for a centre midfielder. But if we're able to generate enough funds from Ox, Keita, and the rest of the players that we have to sell, then we could be in a healthy position to sign a top class forward and a top midfielder, as well as potentially another player for the squad as well, whether that be a right back to cover for Trent or even another midfielder with a bit more creativity. Will they be sold? In my opinion, I think no. Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard to sell them because we'd be so reliant on other teams doing business first. And I think that's what makes this difficult. Plus, I think Klopp's a big fan, especially of Ox. I think he's a massive fan of Ox. And dare I say, I know Ox has had his injury problems, but I even watched an interview of Ox before recording this, and he was saying that he's been available since November. So it's not a case of him being injured all the time. It's a case of him being in the actual team. Likewise with Keita. Keita was fit from sort of around January time, if I'm not mistaken, but he wasn't in the team. And then when he was in the team, he didn't play very well, and it came back to kind of bite him, and he sort of didn't feature much apart from that. I think Ox is way more versatile than Keita, and I think that could lean Klopp towards keeping him, as well as the English homegrown quota as well. So, I mean, Keita, in my opinion, has got an uphill battle to save his Liverpool career. I think if we are going to sell Keita, it has to be this summer. I don't think there's any point in dragging it out to next summer, because we're going to lose out even more value on what he's currently worth at the moment. And if he goes on to have another injury-ravaged season or a bad season, then his valuation is going to just plummet, and that's just not going to benefit us or the player. So if one is to leave this summer, I believe it's Keita. But if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't see either man leaving this summer, which again brings up different questions, but that's for a different show. Now, sticking with Ox played as a number 9 in the first set of friendlies, so the half-an-hour game against Stuttgart. And many people thought he actually had a good game. I don't think he was poor at all. I thought he was just good. I think some people have blown it overboard. I think others are playing it down a bit too much. I thought he just had a good game. That being said, as much as I like Ox as a person, as much as I like Ox as a footballer, him as a number 9 just doesn't sit well with me. It screams of shoehorning players in, and it's not something as we should be doing as Liverpool, in my opinion. It just go and get a striker. If you want an alternative to Roberto Firmino, go and get an actual striker. I'm almost getting sick and tired of doing this whole shoehorning, and we almost do one massive shoehorn every season. Milner at left back, we've done Fabinho at centre back, Henderson at centre back. Like the list just continues to go on and on and on. And dare I say it, I mean, the 2 seasons where we did the least amount of shoehorning was 18-19 and 19-20, and the results were there for everyone to see. We were dominant in the Champions League, dominant in the Premiership, and we were close to being unstoppable. So I think, I mean, the proof's in the pudding there. So for me, it's a case of play players in their correct position and let them thrive, let them flourish. And I think you take Ox out of midfield and you put him on the wing, you limit his game. And likewise, you put him up front, I think you limit his game even more. Like, is Ox going to play with his back to goal? Is he going to run in behind? How is it going to work? And again, I'm not going to sit here and say he hasn't got a great shot. He's got a great shot with both feet. He's brilliant. Ox is brilliant, but he's not a striker. So for me, please just go and get a striker. It's not the hardest thing in the world. I think it needs to be done now. A few more bits of news before we sign out. Steven Gerrard's come out today speaking about the Everton role. So obviously he was loosely linked with the Everton job before Rafa Benitez took it, and he came out and categorically shut those rumours down, saying that there was absolutely no way he was going to be an Everton manager. He says he's been a Liverpool player for the past 20 years playing against Everton. It's not the same for him and Rafa Benitez. Rafa Benitez is not a red through and through. He is, and that was never going to happen, which, let's be honest, we all knew that was never going to happen. Gerrard was never going to take that job. It would have made absolutely no sense. If you think that Everton fans hate Benitez, you wouldn't have wanted to hear them at Goodison Park if Gerrard was in the managerial hot seat. So that was never going to happen. So long live Stevie G, and hopefully we'll see him as Liverpool's next manager, in my opinion. People, I'm going to sign out there. We will be back later on today for the watch along for Liverpool's next pre-season friendly. So make sure you join us from around 10 past to 5:15. We'll be going live Just a caveat, we cannot show the footage of the match. Obviously, we'll get shut down for copyright. So before anyone asks, we can't. But you can listen to our commentary, you can listen to our thoughts, and you can listen to us as we chop it up throughout the game. So people, please do smash the like before you go. Comment and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed. We're Kop-Ish and we're out, people. Take care.